Hello everyone and welcome back to another Game Jam Time with Paul. I'm Paul, I'm the Teen Librarian at the Gloucester County Library in Mullica Hill, and this week we're looking at a really unique kind of game maker. It's called Bitsy. It was designed by, oh gosh, I have the guy's name here, okay, I'm going to mispronounce that, Adam Ledoux, maybe? Is that how you say that there? The things you can do with this are really different. It really makes you think about how to tell a story through a game. So I just wanted to show real quick. If you go to ledoux.itch.io/Bitsy, and I'll put that on the screen, or I'll put that down there. Something, you know, I'll put a link in the description. You go here, you'll get a little description, but you'll see it says Run Tool on the screen here. You're going to click on this, and bam, you're running Bitsy. It looks a little weird and disjointed. Let me scroll over here. I have a couple of more windows open than I think you will when you start off. If you click Tools here, you'll see this little drop down. These highlighted boxes are the ones that are open. So if I, like Exits and Endings is over here. So if I find Exits and Endings, click this, and it's gone. So you can kind of get rid of things and clear it up a little bit. I had a lot of things open a while ago. And then if you just click them again, they'll show up at the very end. You can drag them wherever you want to go to try and make it a little more organized. But you're probably going to want the room, paint, and a couple other things. Inventory might be important depending on what you're making. Open immediately for you. And you'll see over here there's an About. This is really important. The About Bitsy, if you go here, Getting Started, there's a tutorial link. Highly recommend going here, reading through the tutorial. It's not that long, and there's even a playable bit of the tutorial here. Let me see if you can... Yeah, so you can see just from this, you're this one character walking around on a grid. You'll notice instantly, very simple graphics. Couple of things like these fountains have little animations on them. There's this person over here I can go talk to. Oh, hi, cat. You gonna come up here? No? Okay. Yeah, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the camera. So you can talk to that person, and if I go up here, there'll be a different screen that I can transition to. And so you can see this is a very simple looking game, but you can do that. You can customize all the dialogue and the graphics and make something very unique. And I've seen lots of interesting ideas made with this very simple game system. But if you want to run through the tutorial and see what you can make, it's really interesting, and it'll get you started on exactly what you can do. And I think they mentioned this is like a 16 by 16 grid, and you only have 2 colors. Let's go back in here. So here's my original game screen. This is an example room here. You got a person, you got a cat. Here's the person. You can turn the colors on and off like that, and you can see over here it's reflecting if I do anything, it's showing up right there. And you can also, if you do animation, this drop down here, you can have 2 frames of animation, and it'll show you a preview there. So if I get rid of his arms and put them up, you can see there, he's now moving his arms up and down. You can see on the preview he's moving his arms up and down. And this is important. If you look here on the grid, you can see there's still a little bit of a color difference. So you can actually see, like if I got rid of his head, you can still kind of see the head is here. So that makes it really easy to do like a 2-frame animation. You can see what is in frame 1, so you can kind of adjust it. You can also do that. So avatar is your character, the character you're moving around. Tiles are the things like these walls here. If I, add a little box here, you can see it changed it there. Sprites, like this cat down here, sprites can have animations as well, so I can actually make his tail. Now you can see the tail's kind of moving back and forth. And then you've got items. There's a little cup of tea, and you can see this dialogue. You found a nice warm cup of tea. Now tiles, the wall blocks, you can drag as many of them around as you want. But I think with sprites, if I put a sprite down, you can see it move the cat. You can only have one instance of a sprite in a room. I think that's the same with an item. If I put this cup of tea down, different cat, not you, if I put this cup of tea down, I can do multiple cups of tea. All right. And you can see under Find Drawings here, once you get a lot of things going, there's also a key. There's a key item? There's a key item. A key. What does it open? Once you have Find Drawings here, you can search by filter drawings because you'll have like tons of tiles, tons of drawings, and it can get kind of hard to find them. So that becomes useful. Inventory. So you can see how many of each item you have. You can make things very simple. If you want to make a room, like we just saw in that tutorial, walking around talking to people, you can do that. There is a simple inventory in here as well, so you can... I'll show an example here, like you can pick something up, like a key, and it can open a locked door, which could be very handy for very simple kind of puzzles. What other things do we have? Dialogue. You can have regular dialogue. You can also have, let's see, add lists, I think, yeah, sequence lists, or cycle, or shuffle, or branching. So with branching, I believe, like if you say, it'll ask you something and you answer, and it'll change depending on what you answered. Shuffle, where you can have multiple dialogues and it just randomly will choose different ones every time you talk to someone. I believe sequence, like you can have many lines of dialogue and it'll just go in order. And you can also do things like they have the wavy, so if I preview the wavy, you can see there's wavy there. There's a couple different effects here. There's rainbow, oh there you go, color, wavy, shaky, rainbow. Gosh, this cat really wants to get in on this. Alright, so stop the example there. Another thing tiles can do, let's go back to tiles. You can see there's a wall checkable here. Oh, tiles can have animations too, I forgot about that. So things like the fountain we saw in that example. But right now this is not a wall, which means you can walk through these. They look like walls, but they won't act like walls. If I click wall, now every instance of this tile will block you, and you can actually see walls down here. If I click on this, there's all the walls in the room right now. If I make these not walls, then clicking the walls doesn't do anything. There are no walls in this room anymore. So you'll definitely want to make sure, like when you're making rooms, you'll probably forget to turn things into walls. Make sure to click on visualizing walls, because otherwise you'll just walk right out of the room and you'll confuse everybody. So right now, like let's just play this example room it has going. Write your game's title here. We haven't done a game's title, and just click a button, and whoops, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. Right. There we go. Okay, so now we're walking around. You can see I can't go through these tiles. Does the cat say anything? I'm a cat. You found a nice warm cup of tea. So you can see you pick them up, and you can, you probably can't see the tea highlighted over here in the inventory. If I scroll over here, you can now see tea is listed as 2 because I have 2 of them in my inventory. It keeps track of those things. But there's really nothing to do in this room at the moment. So let's stop the example room. And I should mention, you probably already noticed this when we first ran it, but a really cool thing about Bitsy is it's so small and compact. We're just running this in browser. Like, you don't download anything, it's just playing. A lot like the make code that we showed last time. You just go on the website here, and it actually saves it as an HTML file. So you can download this, and it's like 100K file size. They're really small, and it makes it very easy to transport them. It makes it really easy to publish them, and you can publish them on your own website, or itch.io. You can actually just make an account there, publish them, which itch.io, if you don't know, has a lot of like indie games on it. You can actually just publish them there, and people can play them right in the browser there. It makes it real easy to share them. If you go to, I think, game data, so that's, you don't need to really see that. That's the room itself. But there's an option to, you can download the data there. There's another place to do it as well, but I'm not seeing, oh, download, there you go. Download game, upload game. Definitely make sure you download the game, because you don't want to lose anything if you mess things up. what else can we show real quick? Colors. So like I said, there's 2 colors, which makes things very simplistic, but you can have a background color, which is the dark blue. The tile color is the light blue, and the sprite color is white right now. So you can always play around with those. Background color could be anything you want. Totally changes the look of the game, just changing one color out of the 3 you have available. Sprite color is usually white, but you can change that to whatever you want to. Tile color, just as easy. So you can get kind of different looks and feels for different rooms. And lastly, and very important, let's go to exits and endings, which I have right over here. Now, exits and endings, we don't have any exits in the room right now. You can add exits here, which means we can make multiple rooms. Right now we just have one room. But if you click plus, you can add a new room. You can duplicate this room if you want to make a duplicate room, but maybe change a couple things. And then, so let's just do it. Let's do a new room. Put some quick tiles down. And are they walls? They are walls. Okay, so this is room 2. Now you can see we can use these arrows to go between the rooms. Example room and room 2. So now we can add exits. So add an exit. So you can have one-way exits. You can have an exit, which by default usually it's 2 ways. A doorway is going to open. You can go to both rooms. You can do a one-way exit. So you go in one way, you can't go back. And then also an ending. If you get to a certain area, the game ends. It has like a little message you can put up. So we'll do an exit. And it would make more sense to have a tile that's a door so you can see that it's different. Let's actually do that now. But you can see just from adding an exit here, when I drag this around, you can see the exit showing there, and the return exit is showing here. We don't want going down there, would make no sense. So if we go to the other room, there's the exit. So we probably want it to go here, but let's make a door tile. So let's do door, and we'll just make a very simple door. And we'll put this door, let's move this exit, put this door here, move the exit there. Now we go back to the other room, we'll put a door here, move the exit there. So now when we enter one side, we'll go to the other. Let's play this again. There you go, and you can string together as many rooms as you want. Let's stop. And you can also do things like, I think there's transitions, which I've played around with before. Where were they? I don't want to animate the door. Settings? Transition effects. So you can do fades, wave tunnels, slides. Let's see, slide left. Is that the one we want to do? I might have this backwards, but let's see. A nice little effect to show that you're going into a different room. Now I'm going to break here and bring up one that I've already been working on. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is my real kind of short example. I spent a little bit of time on this. I really found it enjoyable to see, like, the game creator is very simple. Obviously you can see this grid here, but what you can do with it, like I just tried to make a library after dark, so I used the dark blue and black and white to try and get a dark kind of looking room. But I tried to put like a little table and chairs there, and these are shelves of library books. I kept the cup of tea in there because I thought it was cute. But we'll see, like, let me just start up the game here. A night at the library. So you can see filled bookshelves line the library walls. And if you go over to this one that looks a little different, this shelf is missing a book. How odd. I kept the cup of tea in there because I thought it was cute. And you go over here, looks like someone dropped their library card. That doesn't do anything in the game. I just thought it was a nice touch to have it over there by the table and chairs. If we go in the other room here. Now with some of this, like the windows here, these bookshelves are actually 4 tiles, so if you want to make something bigger, you can just make multiple tiles, put them together. I think same thing with this reed, that's a couple tiles as well. We go over here. It's a book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Now, my initial idea for this experience was to have several books you'll find, and each one has to go back on their respective library shelf, and each one will transport you to that book's world. I only did the first one here, so you put Alice's Adventures in Wonderland back here. When you replace the book, there's a flash of color, and all of a sudden, here we are in a very simply drawn Wonderland, but I have some flowers and grass and trees. You can go over here, there's the white rabbit here, and he says different... Oh, he says this, I say the same thing every time. I'm late, that hole in the tree will take you home. I think Alice says random things. And then we got the Cheshire Cat over here. And that's pretty much all of Wonderland that I have so far, just a couple of characters. And some nice little field of flowers, and the white rabbit tells you the hole in the large tree may take you home. So if you go over to this large tree, you walk into it, another flash of light, nice little wavy effect, and you're back. You return to find yourself back in the library. Looks like everything's back to normal. So that's the end of the very short game. Like I said, there's one inventory item here, so what to do is pretty easy to figure out. There's only a couple people to talk to, but you can see here's all my rooms. And actually the room you return to is a different room, because I didn't want these bookshelves and this exit. I didn't want those to register, so as soon as you come back to this room, when you step forward, that ends the game. But you can see with more tiles here, where's the fine drawing? Now if I go to tiles, you can see there's so many tiles being used for lots of different things. There's half a read, there's the parts of the bookshelf, the grass, the trees. So having the fine drawings option becomes pretty important once you get a lot of things going in here. So this is a really quick and easy example of what you can do with Bitsy, but like you can tell lots of very interesting stories with this, and I find it really exciting to do something like that, and to make it so easy and free and accessible to anybody with a browser. All you can do is just go to this website and you have access to it, which I think is great. Once again, check out the tutorial. The community made with Bitsy is really interesting. There's a Discord server. If you go to the tutorial also, really great list of Bitsy games at the top of the tutorial, and just a collection of their favorites from Bitsy, and you can just see there's so many different things. I really like this one of like the train area there, one in a castle, but there's some really interesting different ideas being used through Bitsy. And lastly, they actually do, I think, regularly scheduled game jams using Bitsy. If you go on Twitter and use the hashtag BitsyJam, one word, I think they just had a recent one. They just do like, you have a certain amount of time to make a game. Here's the theme. I think right now the theme is trash. Some people are doing recycling. Some people are doing some kind of different theme on trash. It's actually pretty weird. I like when they use like weird topics because you get a lot of strange ideas out of it. So I don't know what I would do with a theme like trash, but I know there's already people on Twitter that are making examples of games using it. So BitsyJam is the hashtag, and make sure that if you make anything with Bitsy, tag us on Facebook, or you can use our Twitter. Like if you do a hashtag BitsyJam, make sure to add us. I think it's GCLibs is our Twitter, and thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I really appreciate you watching, and I really think that these are great tools to show that game development and game design is something that anybody can do, even if you're just doing it like as a hobbyist thing. Like, this isn't like career stuff, but just making games to experiment, to try out new story ideas, to share with other people. and it's really a great way, especially right now, to kind of get in touch with people or get ideas across when we can't really get together in person. So thanks a lot, you guys, and I'll see you next time.